Using the laser cutters at St. Martin's Episcopal School Center for Innovation and Design. Today we'll be preparing our file using Adobe Illustrator, although any vector design software will work. Change the fill to none. Make sure that all objects within your design have no fill. Next, select the entirety of your graphic design and change the stroke to 1 point. If you have text, choose Type, Create Outlines for a successful laser cut. With all vector objects selected, choose Object, Ungroup, and keep clicking Ungroup until the option is no longer available. Now choose File, Export, Export As, and make sure that you're using a file format of a DXF. Don't forget to name your file something appropriate, and export it into a location that you will remember. You are exporting in this case in inches, so make sure that on the laser cutter software, your import settings are also in inches. Turn the key into the on position. As the laser turns on, the laser head will move to the upper right corner of the machine for its homing procedure. You may hear a few clicks as the homing procedure completes. Once the procedure is complete, the laser will move back to its original position. Prepare your stock and place it in an appropriate location on the cutting bed. Use the arrow keys to move the laser head around the cutting bed. Home the laser by pressing the ZU button and then scrolling down to the auto focus on the menu. Press Enter to begin focusing. Make sure that your laser head is positioned above your material in such a way that the autofocus button will impact your material. Reposition the laser into its original location, typically in the upper left-hand corner of your cut.
Here we are in our laser cutter software. Let's learn how to import our file and prepare it for a laser cut. We're going to choose File, Import, and then navigate to your file. Click Open to add the file to the cutting area. You can zoom in and out to see how large your file is compared to your available cutting area. If your file does not import correctly, check your configuration settings. Under File Settings, make sure that your DXF units are in your preferred measurement. Also, your units might be in something that's more familiar to you, such as inches. Click OK. We can see if I highlight my vector design and I direct my attention to the upper left corner, that we have 3.2 inches by 3.1 inches. Let's say I want this to be a width of 4 inches. In this case, I want to lock the aspect ratio, and I would simply change this value to 4. The image automatically resizes. Also, notice the green dot in the upper left-hand corner of the M. This green signifies the starting position of the laser. If you would like to change that, depending on the application, under the Config menu, you can choose System Setting and choose Center, for example. That will change the start of your cut to the center of your material. Use whatever is appropriate for the particular job that you're doing. We're going to change it back to upper left. Next, different colors signify different cut settings. This particular color is black, and we can see that reflected over here in our layer menu. If I was to add a box, for example, I can see that the box is green. So I'm able to change different cut settings, speed, and power for the different colors. Let's go ahead and delete that box. Next, we're going to learn how to change the speed and power settings. In the top right, you see we have black, because that's the color of our vector design and the only color. We double click, and that brings up our menu. We're cutting this out of cardboard, so an appropriate speed and power would be a 100 speed and a 100 power, but here we have multiple power settings. We're going to uncheck power 2 and simply change both the minimum and maximum power to be both 100. Hit OK. Next, we want to make sure that our vector cut fits onto our stock that we're using. After loading the stock, you're going to click Go Scale. Once you click Go Scale, it will ask you for speed settings. Choose something that's appropriate for you. Typically around 100 would be an appropriate speed. And then click Go. And the laser will move in a perimeter fashion around your cut. To begin the actual cut, you're simply going to click the Start button.
Once all settings are correct, close the lid and don't forget your safety glasses. As the job finishes, you will hear 3 beeps to signify that the machine is done with its current operation. Be careful when removing material. Make sure that all fumes have been evacuated and that you move the laser out of the way to remove your material.